I sat there and I listened to the District A candidates and sit here and listen to the District B candidates. And one thing that strikes me is all four Democrats have said how one of their priorities is education. If that's the case, they're running for the wrong office. The only function the Common Council has as far as education is concerned is the bottom line. We set their overall budget, and then we have no say at all in what happens with the Board of Ed. So for me to sit up here and say education's a priority, well, sure it is. I can't do anything about it, but it's a priority. I've also heard former and sitting council members talk about how they're going to work for the council and all of that. It sometimes helps when you're working for the council to actually show up for committee meetings. I had a very hard 2 years here. I've had family issues, I've had professional issues. But in those times that I could not actually physically be present, I telecommuted. They put me on speakerphone and I attended meetings. I made sure that I was involved in the meetings wherever possible. My proudest accomplishment this year is something that term after term after term, others failed at. Norwalk now has a blight ordinance. Is it perfect? No. But we got one passed. We got one passed even though for several months we had a hard time getting a quorum because certain members chose not to show up. But we got a blight ordinance passed and a companion for landlord registration. So I'm getting a red flag waved at me, so we'll end it there.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Burdell.
One aspect that I would like to see is what I call building bridges. Not physical bridges. Bridges between the parties. In order to work together. Okay. Bridges between various groups in Norwalk. I have no idea how to do it, but we work together. That's the thing. Working together, building bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell. Ms. Bowman.
Oh, quick. Again, I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Again, the major issues I plan to focus on are education and ensuring our communities have what they need, public safety, affordable housing, and then also helping small businesses succeed in South Norwalk. I just wanted to touch on something that Mr. Heath said. You know, education isn't, there's nothing we can do about education. Well, that's one of the major issues I see with a lot of our elected officials. Every time something comes up, they say it's not their problem and there's nothing they can do about it. Well, somebody can do something about it, and I plan to be someone that does something about it. So that's one thing that sets me apart. Another, a couple of other things that set me apart from, you know, my candidates on the other aisle are, I think that I can bring a fresh perspective to old issues that have been facing South Norwalk. And also, I feel that I will be a council person who listens and then also takes into account public opinion, and that's something that is really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Oh,
Bowman.
sorry. Vote Bowman, vote Roe B.
Mr. Sanders. Thank you, Ms. Bowman.
Yes. Well, I plan to, from day one, to make sure that we have some transparency and on the council. I want to make sure that we are not just voting party line just to appease or tick off the other side. I want to work in a combined effort to make sure, in a joint effort to make sure that we are representing the city and not our own personal endeavors. It was sitting on the council in 2009, 2011. We faced it. It was voting party line without really taking the people into consideration. And that troubled me. And I said if I ever had the opportunity to run again on the council, and we were the majority, we would still treat them with respect and dignity. With that said, when I do get elected back on the common council, I will work bipartisan to make sure that every citizen voices are heard, and every need is being met. I don't believe in not taking phone calls, or returning phone calls, or returning emails. I'm very responsive, and if elected, I'll make sure that your problems get tackled. And I thank you for your time, and your patience, and understanding, and I look forward to being your council representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. And thank you to the District B